What's going on, guys? So today we're doing a trolling motor install video. We are going to go through this the best we can, step by step, to give you an idea of how to install one of these on your boat. On this boat, we're doing a 96-inch Rhodan, and this is going on a 32 Boston Whaler Vantage. So definitely a unique boat for a trolling motor, but my customer, one of my training customers, wanted this done so he could easily go offshore and fish. Now, first thing started, there's a lot of pieces and stuff. It can look overwhelming at first, but it's really pretty simple once you get going with it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to unbox the trolling motor. You're going to pull this base plate out of the trolling motor itself, which you're going to pull the pin out right here, and then this is going to come out. Rhodan supplies you with a couple packets of hardware and even a drill bit. They even supply you with the drill bit and stuff, which is really nice. Now, one thing you have to know before you unlock that pin to take the pin out, they do supply you with a key, and you have to go on the back side of the trolling motor base there and unlock the pin before you can pull the pin out. So don't forget about that before you start. They give you two different hardware packets. One hardware packet I've already dumped out here. This is the flatheads. The flatheads are going to be used for the base plate that goes on the boat here. And then these pan heads are what mount this block to the base plate. And the trolling motor mounts here, and that's how you can easily remove your trolling motor, by pulling the pin when you're not using it. But to get started mocking this up, I need this plate mounted to the plate that's going to go on the boat, or the chuck that's going to the boat. And what I did, I used some medium thread lock, some blue thread lock, and I put them on these bolts with the pan heads to run in here, because it has threaded inserts already in that plate ready to go for you. So once you have that set up, then you can put this back on the trolling motor underneath, and we can start to mock this up and see how it's going to lay on the boat. Now, you have to put it far enough to where it hangs out over the boat well, but then you also have to match up the back end of the head here and put the head in a spot where it can be supported underway, and you try to make it out of the way as possible. I don't think we're going to be able to make it out of the way on this particular boat. I think if you're going fishing with the family or whatever, this trolling motor is unfortunately going to take up this port seat, but that's really the only way we could rig it. There's not enough room on the starboard side here. The only place to put it was that spot right there on the port side inside that cleat. All right, so as we mock this up, what you have to pay attention to is, obviously you want everything to look symmetrical and square, but you have to make sure that you put this far enough out to where the shaft gets about, I don't know, I like it to be a ½ inch to an inch off the rub rail when it's out and deployed. So you have to keep that in mind when you're spacing this out. You determine, number one, that once the trolling motor is deployed and you have a ½ inch to an inch of room between the shaft and the rub rail when it's deployed, and number two, that you have enough surface area here to get the 6 provided bolts, or you could do more. They provide 6 for 3 on both sides. Generally that does get the job done, but if you feel like you need extra, you can go to the hardware store, match the bolt up, and you can use all of these, or you can use most of them. But for this application, we're probably just going to use 3 on each side. So once you determine that you can get 3 on each side, this one's going to be a little awkward because it is hanging off on the bow, but this side is going to be no problem. We drilled 2 pilot holes with the provided bit, and we did some quick measurements just to make sure everything was symmetrical with the non-skid and the hatch here. And we did that by first determining our distance here relative to the bow, and we marked that. We squared everything up with a tape measure. Then I drilled 1 pilot hole here, and then I shoved that bolt in it. And what that does, it allows me to keep a steady reference point when I'm doing my measurements and when I'm getting everything symmetrical and square. Once I accomplish that and get everything square, then I can come over here and drill my other pilot. You always need 2 bolts back here because most of the tension, right, the plate's going to be lifting up kind of like this, and all of these will be, and these will be holding, you could say, a lot of the tension back here. So these are definitely two of the most important ones, but we got everything nice and square and we'll be good. All right, we got everything mocked up. We did our 6 pilot holes there. And if you notice, all of them are flush with the gel coat. Obviously I couldn't do any more forward than these because the bow of the boat slopes off and it wouldn't look very good. You would see that bolt from the outside of the mounting plate. So keeping everything nice and tight together and flush so that you're not seeing any of the bolts and any of the silicone. Now we're going to be using 4200. Now a lot of guys probably just use regular old silicone, and that's fine. We are through bolting with big fender washers and these flathead bolts that are going to work just fine. There's plenty of thread on the back of them once they're all the way through the gel coat. So you can use just regular silicone. However, 4200 is a removable, non-permanent adhesive silicone, and I do prefer to use that. Number one, it kind of, I guess, provides a little bit more strength to me. Silicone, in my opinion, will probably last longer than a just regular silicone. So we're using 3M 4200 white on this application. That way, if somebody ever removes this plate, all they have to do is some quick gel coat work to fill these holes, and the 4200 will be removable. It will take some effort to remove it, but it is doable, unlike 5200. All right, so we got a good coating of 4200 on the bottom of the plate and around all of the screw holes, and then we sat the plate down on top. All I did was just a perimeter here, and then I did a blob on each screw, and then we cleaned up all the excess on top of the screws here before we do anything. That stuff sets up pretty quick, the 4200, so we made sure to go ahead and acetone all that stuff. That way we're not working with a mess. We laid in the through bolts with our 4200. Everything worked out really nice. The shaft has got plenty of clearance there off the rub rail. This is gonna work out great because all you have to do is open the anchor locker hatch, and the plug for the trolling motor cord goes right through there. And we're gonna put the mount, we're gonna fabricate up a little plate right there to mount to the bottom of that fiberglass for the plug, similar to how they did that one right there. And it came out really nice. It worked out great. After we got done installing the trolling motor and the plate and got it cinched down and through bolted, we came in here and started mocking up the battery. We're using the Abyss battery, 72 amp hour, 36 volt lithium. And these are really cool batteries based out of Largo, Florida. They have like a Bluetooth app that syncs up and you can monitor the battery at all times. We came over here and we mounted the charger and the breaker on this piece of starboard. This piece of starboard that Boston Whaler used to divide the port side storage box here with the integrated cooler. That's right there. That worked out real nice. Now we just got to wire everything up. All right, we got the battery and all the wiring run. Now everything in the hatch here is good. Now we're working on getting the plug set up and the plate for the plug up in the anchor locker. But basically we got everything nice tucked up under this lid, under this little lip here. Mounted everything to that bulkhead. The wires are up under this lid, and we use these. I'm a big fan of not cutting holes and screwing into a boat if it's not necessary. So we're using these little 3M adhesive backings, and we're attaching the wires with zip ties to these, and just sticking them on up under here on the lip, and they're holding really well at the moment. I think they'll be just fine. We always use them. I've never had a problem with them. It's just, to me, it's much better than putting 10 screws, you know, to make the wire chase look pretty all the way in. Use this piece of starboard here. We got the breaker and the charger mounted nicely. And another thing is, with this particular application, we're just going to keep the power cord for the charger inside the hatch here. Number one, this is a brand new boat, and I would hate to cut and hole saw a 2-inch hole right here on the face just for easy accessibility. I think that we can run that cord out through the hatch, or just keep the hatch open when we're charging the battery. These lithium batteries take no time at all to charge. So once again, just trying to find the best solution that doesn't involve cutting a bunch of holes in the boat. They do make the little easy receptacle that plugs into here. It's a NOCO product, and then you can mount it to here somewhere on your boat. And it takes about a 2-inch hole saw to get that done, and to make it quickly accessible where you can plug an extension cord in. But we're opting to not go with that on this install, and we can always add it later if the customer does find that he wants it.